Hello and welcome back to Chapter 2 of Susheela M.A, a novelette by Kalki Krishnamurthy. English translation by Anand. Greetings poured in after the results were published. She received several invitations for tea parties and dinners. This wasn't surprising, as she was the first woman to be ranked first in the MA examinations. Ladies' clubs hosted a lunch in her honor. The municipality of Tirunelveli honored her with a special dinner. The teaching staff at the university gave her a banquet for the honors she brought to the university. The brave Tamil Women's Society, not wanting to be left behind, gave her lunch as well. She had to accept dining invitations from known, unknown, and semi-known people. On some days, she had to accept 2 or even 3 invitations. If you thought she would get away pretending to eat on these occasions, you'd be mistaken. If she picked at her food, people would say, "You may not like this food. You are an expert in cooking. Your standards must be higher." She had to eat decent portions to avoid hurting people's sentiments. You may have heard of Neo Vanchak Lunch Home, a well-known restaurant in Madras. The owner of this restaurant, a marketing-savvy man, wanted Susheela to grace the annual day celebrations of his restaurant. He persuaded her to participate with strong recommendations. That set a precedent. All restaurants in Madras started inviting Susheela for public events. An enterprising restaurateur changed the name of his establishment to Susheela Lunch Home. Susheela concluded it was no longer safe to stay in the city and decided to return to Tirunelveli. Again, she was mistaken in thinking her troubles would be over with the move. Her father, Diwan Bahadur Gomati Natapar, was very well known in Tirunelveli. In addition to being a popular lawyer, he had an active public life. He was the president of the local egalitarian cemetery club. He was also the secretary of the mandatory video remarriage society. He was an active member of the Society for Swearing in Pure Tamil. You just had to look at his daughter to see how interested he was in societal causes. We don't know how Susheela thought she could get a break from her dining obligations with such a father. It must have been a spectacular brain fade. Be that as it may, Susheela reached Tirunelveli. There was a big crowd waiting to receive her at the train station. When she reached home, there was an elaborate lunch. Gomati Nathapar was eager to introduce his distinguished daughter to all his friends. 20 years prior, there had been this man who'd received an M.A. There had been such a hue and cry about his achievement that he was renamed M.A. Mudaliyar. Now, for the first time, a woman had received an M.A. She has beaten all men to stand first in the province. No wonder that the father was proud of such a daughter. More dinner invitations followed. Invitations started pouring in from the Egalitarian Cemetery Club, the Mandatory Video Remarriage Society, the Lawyers' Union, the Cooperative Union, the Learning Society for the Ignorant, the City Club, and many friends and relatives. At the dining table, they all said, "You're just picking on your food. Our humble food must be bland. Not surprising. You have all those medals on the culinary art and things in such a vein." All this made Susheela despise food. The thought of food made her nauseous. Any talk of food fell like molten lead in her ears. To add to her agony, she didn't believe she could discuss her problem with anyone else, not even her father. If a man who played both mother and father to her from a young age could not sense how she felt, what could she expect from others? There was one person, however, who would understand her perfectly. He had boarded a ship. He would be home soon. The two of them could go somewhere remote where no one would talk about food and cooking. That one person was Mr. Balasundaram, B.A.B.E. He was from a small town called Therinjakkadu near Tenkasi. After receiving his engineering degree in Madras, he went abroad for higher studies. He had completed his studies creditably and was returning home. He had been engaged to Susheela for a while. Gomati Nathapar had said that they could get married after they both finished their studies. Susheela had been looking forward to hearing that he had arrived in India. At long last, she received the news through a telegram. Susheela forgot all her distinct achievements and acted like the leading ladies we see in the talkies. She sang to herself, performed dance moves, powdered her face, adjusted the bindi on her forehead, admired herself in the mirror, and acted silly in several other ways. She couldn't wait for the time they could go somewhere remote where there was no threat of dinners and tea parties. A letter from Balasundaram followed in a couple of days. He professed his endless love for Susheela. He said his heart was beating faster in anticipation of their reunion. He also said he would have to stay in Bombay a little longer to study the use of electricity in the city's cotton mills, and should be able to be with her within a month. In the end, he had added, "I need to do this to prepare for the work I want to do in our province. If that wasn't the case, I'd have come flying to be with you. You're my world. I long to see you. It's not just that. I'm dying to come home and taste dosa, idli, sambar, and rasam again. It has been 2 years since I tasted good food. I'd gladly trade the entire city of Bombay for a dosa. If only I could get a crispy murukku now. Wait, what am I doing? Telling you, the culinary arts expert, about something as mundane as murukku? Forgive me. When I reach there, I'm eager to taste your novelties like drumstick halwa, tamarind pudding, neem curry, grapefruit fry, and the like. Signed, yours forever, Balasundaram." Susheela went crazy with rage on reading this. She tore the letter into pieces. Then she joined the pieces to recover Balasundaram's address. Then she wrote to him, "I received your letter. I hate you. You make me sick to the stomach. I don't want to set eyes on you. Can't you wretched people think of anything other than food and eating? Signed, Susheela, who used to love you." She sealed the letter in an envelope and sent it to be mailed. She collapsed on the sofa. The world seemed barren. Why was I born? And why am I alive? She thought. The servant brought a newspaper. She idly glanced at the headlines. A line in bold caught her eyes. "Hitler Gurusamy on a fast unto death." She sat bolt upright after reading this. She read on. "Tamil temples must belong to Tamil gods. Aryan gods' atrocity. Hunger strike, death, and then." It's hard to describe Susheela's emotions on reading these headlines. She read on with great enthusiasm. What happens next? To be continued. Thank you for listening.